welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And oddly enough, I was just talking to Gustav about the play. Obviously, they went out in 16th in that game, despite getting second in the first. And great to hear from the players themselves. And we discussed it during the match. You know, it was one of those matches where if that player had worked out, by the way, they scouted it and they only thought there was 2 in the compound. They thought it was a 2-2 split, which is why they pushed it. They didn't realize all 4 were there. And obviously, Rage Red played it very well as well. And we heard from Rage Red saying that they'd prepared to be pushed. They were in a position to, if we're going to get pushed, they're going to push at this spot. And that's how it works out.
Which is a really good proactive read, right?
And like Gustav said, he said, the problem is the ditch we were in, we could have got naded. We thought we were going to get naded, which is why they made the push. They knew damn well they were going to get pushed by a couple of teams. He just said, it's very impressed that now he actually got second out of that position, because I don't think it was a possible thing, which is why they pushed. And like he said, obviously we just saw it from there. If they'd have come out on top, match-winning play, doesn't work out, you never know.
You mean you're talking about the Navi fallback of getting it off that? It was the fact that TSM had kind of sacrificed themselves in a point where they're the first team to fall. They put pressure on the other teams around them and then leave it free. So I can kind of understand, yes, it is a bit of a tricky spot to play off, but when you're TSM who was there and have just died from the back of it and all of a sudden Raise Your Edge is damaged, then you kind of clear it a little bit. I mean, there was also some knock-on effects of other teams getting involved there. G2 and DA up on the side of the hill, stopping the advancement across the road, so that entire roadside was clear.
With GamerLegion pulling up, it actually forced Navi away from that gutter ditch type thing and actually pulled them to the road. So they were kind of clear of the fire of the Knights, etc. But anyway, that was Miramar. And now we are moving on for the first time in PEL history. Here in Phase 3, we go to Sanhok, Richard.
Jungle
Where
Warfare.
the hell are they going to go? We have no idea. There's been so many things happening in scrims. We don't know what the hell is about to happen.
So this is where it gets fun. That plane, to me, just looking at that angle, looks quite low. Top of the map is going to be out of reach for now. Even Paradise Resort, Camp Bravo, some very main areas are going to be hard to get to. There are hard spawn vehicles on there, but really you don't want to be using any. This is one of the hardest maps, if you want to rotate off the back of it, to do it on. Be prepared for a couple of things. Slower players, close combat engagements, playing against the blue. A few players, unfortunately, dying to the blue. And most importantly, just pure and utter carnage. There is trees, there is grass, it's quite dark. This is just going to be madness. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I know there's been some negativity on social media. I'm quite looking forward to this. I think it shakes things up. It's 20% of the map pool that we're going to be playing throughout this phase. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good fun. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Crack on, boys.
Desperados
Have some
and
fun.
NIP. Ultrastar manages to get himself a gun first. He's chasing down Miruku. He's got to get reloaded.
Double shotgun.
He's got the double shotgun up. Miruku picks one up as well. He gets himself an S12. That could do some damage. The double shotgun from Gaxi takes Ultrastar down. And we're really, when you're hitting the dirt like that, you're not too sure what you're going to find. I'm seeing micro oozes. I'm seeing barrels. I'm seeing everything.
Even with level 3 gear, the shotgun's up close and personal. It will insta. That's the old QBZ going to work. QBZ and QBU are extremely strong on this one. Shotgun comes in. SK12 does the job. There is an answer back, and it's a one-on-one engagement already.
What is happening?
This is madness.
21. Nobody's got meds, of course. TomiL's just got 21 health. He backs away. Vard's flushing. So instead, is he going to go for some reses back here? Is he going to risk it?
If Vard gets this, he's the savior. He could res them all.
TomiL's trying to flush as well. He sees Gaxi. That gives the information. So now Vard's like, I'm safe to res at the moment. Tommy's trying to find himself an angle. Look at this. Calvin Klein's actually, is he in with them? Revive him, in which case it gives all the information he will be. So he gets him down, and now MBS is going to do the job and get Miracle up, and they see Tommy. He's got himself a first aid. He's found one.
Yeah, but honestly, what can he really do against all the players that are now getting back on the feet? There's strength in numbers, right? Regardless if you can get the knock, they'll just go for the refrag. I think he's coming to this a little bit too late. I get the idea behind it, especially when you have the QBZ. It's a hard-hitting weapon. We don't have the Scar on this map. This is the trade-off.
MBS has got no meds. Look at it. You can see he's been revived, but it is still flashing. He's got nothing.
You've got to go for it. Ultra's dead. All you meant. You're either going out in 16th or you're the savior and picking up 4 points.
Oh, Miracle sees it. Gets the shot in the back there. Gets away with it. MBS is thinking, oh,
the problem is the shotguns are viable here.
Yeah.
They can just whip them out. Any of them. Any of the 3 are just going to insta them.
I mean, we haven't even looked at the rest of the map. We'll get to it in a moment. I mean, nobody else is fighting, so this is the action to catch. As TomiL tries to get the shots around, but he's down to 8 health. Gonna get the door. Pink Vard goes big. He gets the frag, and well, that honestly, I feel like we're watching the school drops on Erangel when the game first came out.
That's what Ruins can be like. You do still in Publix get a lot of teams going for here because you have that middle compound, you have the bells that are all around it, and honestly it's so easy and so simple to gear up. We'll take a look at the map shortly and show you guys exactly how the drops went down and where the teams did unfold. It's going to be chaos on this next rotation. Circle is pretty much plumb center. DA, Na'Vi, N47. FaZe, if they come out of Painan geared, they'll be able to take the crossroads. It's one of the points that Martin spoke about, being able to jump in and basically from their position now, they can choose where they want to go. Rotations are hard. There's no really such thing as a rotate. It's survivability. It's fighting for your life. People will be playing up against the blue. People will be coming in slow and transitioning extremely slow. You have to be prepared to have a fight on 2, 3 different angles. For these players that like to play the edge, ignore behind you. Don't worry about that. We play edge because then it's one angle we don't have to worry about necessarily.
I mean, from the research point of view, obviously we've seen this in contenders already. But, you know, talking to SKUIJKE early on, he said the fact is, yes, we've all played scrims on it, but everybody plays very differently. They go, you know, you're hungry for kills, etc., and you go way more aggressive than you ordinarily would. This is the sort of plays we were expecting. See the boats going way out north and just trying to come in from an angle. They're well aware that the plane came down sort of Camp Alpha downwards to Camp Charlie. So well aware that the fact is that anything up north is probably relatively free. Maybe not expecting CrowCrowd to be up in the north, though. But going back to my point about SKUIJKE, you know, he was talking about the fact is everybody plays very different in scrims than they will in the real game. So nobody really knows what to expect other than what we're seeing now.
I don't think you can scrim this. This is one of those maps where it really is what's thrown at you, you have to deal with. This will bring out the best in individual...
adaptions.
Yes, and fragging prowess and one-on-one engagements.
You love to see it. Go, Nookie, go!
Be aware of the QBUs and the QBZs. They're going to be really relevant on this, especially the QBU. It is a DMR, but it can just, you can spray it like an AI. Just tap fire that thing. It has absolutely 0 kick, so be aware of them.
So, by the way,
They'll play a big part.
Was it Team Liquid that got boot camp? I think it is.
It was, and now they've come out and they've been met by TSM. And Gustav actually falls down. FaZe Clan's just lingering on the hill. DA's on the hill in front of them, past the rice field. So really, what else you can do? And look, this is all a little bit. It's just back and forth. The one, if the, you know, let's be honest here. We have to kind of say it as it is. If it's one of the bigger negative factors of this, is in PUBG we try and limitate or at least make RNG manageable. This map unfortunately kind of breeds that out and removes those limitations that we've put on it. So the RNG becomes extremely relevant. But for those teams and individuals, they have to learn how to deal with that. You have to play on your feet. You have to play it like a public game. It's run and gun, man. It's boots on the ground warfare. Get guns, get gear, and just crack on. Do whatever you can. If you can get a good position on the map, try and hold it. But you have to have your head in a swivel. If you take a hillside on this, apart from a few rocks, you're just going to get dinked at range because there's so many 4x and so many DMRs available to you.
And we should point out, obviously, with the map being very different to the likes of Erangel and Miramar in size, the settings are also very different as well. So it will try and pull away from water in around Phase 3 and Phase 6. It also goes a little quicker, which is why you see teams getting caught in the blue a lot earlier.
I think the average so far that we've seen... I've been watching some of the other leagues, and it's in contenders already. It's usually around 10+ people that unfortunately will die to the blue. But then again, there'll be a lot of them thinking, well, if there's a full team in front of us, then why? You might get these more choices. Do I give a team a free point? Or do I decide, okay, we'll just step away from this? Because this map, at the end of the day, does take up 20% of the entire pool.
Yeah. Well,
it could also, the interesting factor to it, whether people like it or not, it could switch things up. People that are doing well at the top or well at the bottom, you could pick up an easy win here.
You might find a specialist, someone that focuses so heavily on it. I mean, you think of it used to be Liquidmar, right? And Miramar in Europe, and then everybody else caught up. And it's like once one team figures out the best adaptation, everybody's going to look at that team and try and mimic it. And we'll see how it works out.
My biggest issue, because of how small the map is, generally speaking, central point of this map is where circles are going to be lingering in and around. There's not too many hard shifts that are going to happen. So these teams, Quarry, Bootcamp, Painan, anywhere around those areas that gives you at least a good foothold and a good stake of land, it's going to be good regardless because you don't have to. As long as you can shoot, as long as you can aim. NIP have actually come off the bridge, and I think TSM's there.
Yeah, TSM obviously lost Gustav early on. And this is the thing, right? You're going to see teams buffering into each other, trying to find and flex for a little bit of space as Rory gets VAR down. Should be able to flush, can't quite get him before he gets behind the rock. Now, the question is, MBS, if he's going to come, this Rez is going to have to come quick, but look at Hi-Rez repositioning up on high. He's going to get an angle right behind the back of MBS and Miraku. They may be aware of this, and they're already backing away. They are. Just come over the bridge. They've not really got anywhere to go other than underneath it, and that's the play they've had to go with.
So again, QBU, super easy to use DMR. It's basically a mini, but even stronger. The QBZ, it is a trade-off for the Scar, but it has the same kind of feel to it. Very easy to control, lots of damage, slightly slower rate of fire. You can try and keep control of it as much as humanly possible, but like the Scar, it's a pick-up and pull kind of weapon. You don't need every single attachment under the sun, unlike an M4 that does, to make it a very strong and viable gun.
Up in the north, we have GamerLegion and 7 clashing two of the new teams. This is up in Paradise Resort area. Edelweiss is going to get hamstered down early on. Fex sees and tries to go for a little response, but Edelweiss doing a great job. And now that's going to slow things down. The circle is going to continue shrinking. They haven't got too much to worry about outside of that. I guess Raise Your Edge are going to be hearing the shots. Maybe they're just a little further south and set up for them. G2 finally inside the blue. Not quite in the circle yet, though. Bearing in mind, they started off up and around the northern edges of Camp Alpha. They've gone, what, 180 degrees around the map to come in from the eastern side.
I think I've just heard a Kar 98 in the distance, which is a surprise, to be fair. I did not expect to see anybody using a sniper. You never know. Could be wrong completely and just hearing it in the distance.
Yeah, we were never very good with the gun sounds from range.
I'm a public boy. I know these. I have to be aware. Drive out. Hear an M24. It's like, nope, not going there.
Nick, that's a good nade. Did he cook it well? Oh, you just hear it rattle behind Bjorn. He was a very lucky boy there to get away with it. But Grab's doing a great push. Comes around the side. Bjorn's flushed. He's down. And 7 starting to get themselves in gear, but oh, the second they come over the brow of the hill, again, Team Liquid all staring at them, but they do take down GamerLegion. That's going to be 4 kills for them.
Love it how you could just hear in the distance, just cycling the automatic fire to single fire, just making sure make sure the gun's on automatic. A few times you will turn up to a fight and it's on single fire. It's like, well, I'm dead now. Not this time. Edelweiss will be able to get his health back and they will continue onwards. Raise Your Edge, you'll hear all the information that will be fed to them. Circle, we'll see where she goes to. G2's made it in. They actually bought it on. Bit of a hard shift here. We said we won't see too many of them, but this does go the way of Bootcamp. No one should really be going into Bootcamp, and that's why Jempty's there. It's a really good position that he's in. He holds that entire angle himself and basically can feed any info back to what's in front of him, which is Team Liquid 3 members spread out. If someone makes an entry point into Bootcamp, either from down south or from the west, Jempty can feed that back. They can gather the troops, regather the resources, and then go after them. At the moment, Jempty is like a doorway to Bootcamp, unless somebody, by hook or by crook, managed to sneak in behind him without him noticing. Right now, he's holding that himself.
Well, Miraku is the last man for an IP. He might be able to creep himself along the riverbed, maybe. The Knights and Reciprocity near each other. CrowCrowd, this is over on the western side. N47, got them in the distance. They're just going to duck back behind a hill. Actually, may even find a crate coming their way. ENCE are kind of pushing in the backside outside of the quarry into Na'Vi as Team Liquid look to reposition. They have the lion's share of the center of the circle at the moment, Team Liquid. It may be a little bit too greedy because they're very heavily spread. And the likes of TSM know exactly where they are. Of course, they've already engaged once losing Gustav in that exchange. We'll try and find them as we see Braexco going down for G2.
That's a complete and utter insta. Page with the SKS. Still a strong DMR in itself. The old crates come in. Tiikzu will find it. That's the level 3 upgrades. Probably want to ignore the AUG, to be fair. The AUG, it's a good gun, but what's the point in wasting any time getting in it, to be fair, especially if that M4 is completely geared up. You might as well stick with it. Edelweiss again. That's G2 from a different angle this time, so 2 teams just laying down the hammer now. ENCE are going for the quarry run, to be fair. Fair. If you make it work, that's fair play, lads. They'll dip down low and come out high. But the problem is, as soon as they escape this and evacuate that entire area, you have Na'Vi just lined, ready, waiting, and able to murder them if they want to cross the road. Rek is behind them, distracting them and drawing their attention for now.
That was good for ENCE, though. They went under the quarry to come out the other side of Na'Vi. They're well aware that Na'Vi there, okay, we can't approach them from this position. We're going to get shot in the back by anybody else on the edge of quarry. The likes of N47, G2, and CrowCrowd that were also coming that way. G2, by the way, they just pulled off a clutch revive, and if you caught it, he was down to absolutely nothing. So Yannis back on his feet, but Evil is trying to find an angle, doesn't really have one. It's actually got, oh my word, the Knights took them right. So Reciprocity were fighting Na'Vi, so they gave their position away. They got into these huts, and you can see the Knights have now moved into position up on the hill right above them.
The good point about that position where they are is that they don't have to fight Rek if they don't want to. Dependent circle, obviously. But there is a scenario where they can just re-rotate this and go west and head out and away from it and disengage from the battle and take an alternative route. Unfortunately, circle... You could, but you'll be playing edge if you decide to go left. There are means and ways of doing it, especially with the hard cover from the trees they will be gifted. FaZe, not quite central, but certainly the strongest compound in here, and that comes off the springboard that they take from Pioneer, and that is, again...
CrowCrowd pushing. They're pushing onto Na'Vi.
Middle drops.
They're going to get around the side. So Pokémon down, but NOOKIE in response. Meanwhile, we see ENCE down low. Look at that. He's right above. A little underhand. Oh, raise your edge. Getting ripped apart. 7 about a belter of a game here. We were talking about specialists. Maybe this is their map. Who knows? This is going to be about their 7th or 8th kill if they can confirm this one on MiiKaz. Will get him down. And 7 annihilate their second team running so far as CrowCrowd right up against the wall.
But even then, from the other side of the pond, you could see the tracer fire from coming from Team Liquid, and that is one of the biggest obstacles of this map, is that really, you're never safe anywhere. If you're on top of a hill, you have to have your head on a swivel because you will be just silhouetting to every team. And at the moment, 7 are trying to get gear back off of Raise Your Edge, who they're just taken out. I can see Jempty just peppering them, being a nuisance, which, by the way, is quite clever. I can see it on the map, so I'll just explain to you what's happened here. Jempty has been a nuisance. They're fixating on him. 7, while all that's been going down, Liquid is sitting at the bottom of the hill. They are waiting for 7 to approach them. This is a really good bait and switch trap. ABeautflDeath is down there with a second player, which I think is SIMSY. Honestly, I think 7 are now walking into a trap that Liquid set up, and if they spring this is so bloody clever.
And so far fall into the wayside of N47 down low there. Trapped in that one compound. Rustanmar, the only man that was outside of it, will be taken down by Page. Doing a grand job. G2 have actually moved into this fight with 7. Remember, G2 lost one early on. Braexco this time around. Chris has been the first man down on the first 2 Mirage maps. There's a nade straight on top of Crab. That's Yannis finding another. EDELWEISS is going to try and do what he can, but that second nade from Yannis finds it. Sadovnik instantly taken down, and now Buster's getting flanked by Ibi. That nade's going to force him out of position, and it will be Team Liquid going to be confirming it. EDELWEISS now the last man standing for 7.
Yeah, they're just coming in to clean up what's left, the remnants of that previous fight. I don't think Liquid expected G2 just to be so close to this one, which is good because now Liquid and ABeautflDeath and SIMSY will completely disconnect from this one. TSM still holding points, same for FaZe, same for Rek. The team that's in very open waters here is DA. They're all just laid down central of the map, hoping that someone comes around their hillside. N47, difficult situation for them. G2 above them, ENCE behind them, DA in front of them. Pick your poison, boys. You've got to go through one team. If you want to make it to the center of the map, once you get there, you got the final boss. You got both TSM, FaZe Clan, and DA all waiting and ready.
But Team Liquid find themselves on the northern side outside the circle now, so they're going to have to start pushing down. TSM did a sneaky and moved into the compound, sort of off the back of them.
Finally, we might, sorry to break you off here, just really quickly, might have to see this Knights and Rek fight that's been backbuilding for a while. They've had eyes on one another. I'm pretty sure Reels is trying to get a different angle ahead of Reciprocity, but again, if he does that, once Rek exits their building, it'll essentially be a 4 versus 1 scenario, so they just need to play it cool.
There's nowhere for Rek to get out of those compounds.
Oh god, the murdering fields. Here we go. Time to move.
Here we go. ENCE, they're going to get decimated. They were down low. Looks like there's going to be the 1 man left. They're all trying to get in position. TRYFFELI will be that final man to get through. There goes 7, falling to the wayside. They've got plenty of points from the kills, though. Digital Athletics, they're also found out. They've got 2 down. There's a double crate comes their way. and Vasku finds himself the last man of ENCE. It is back and forward. Yannis going off, gets himself evil down. Yannis, very impressive in his opening day here in the PEL, just as like we saw earlier on with mxey.
Doing well, it's a nice little tap on the headshot. Need to reposition now because blue begins to hurt. Yes, you are stimmed up, but honestly, coming down this hillside, there's so many teams here. You could see in the kill feed, DA, even though they were center of the map, so many angles. They were exposed from many different ways. Oh boy, here we go. Try and catch that kill feed as quickly as possible, quicker than I can. Drayden goes down. That's FaZe Clan finally opening up back to back. They do move in onto the base where FaZe is. This is their territory, and they are completely exposed. Murdered on arrival, and Snacks, the last man standing, move back on with N47. Still, go on this double engagement with G2. They're gone. DA now next standing in front of them, CrowCrowd. They're also in all kinds of damage. Navi actually holds the compound for now. Pittsburgh Knights completely eradicated from the map. Miracle, last man standing for NIP just behind them. Vasku trying to pick up these points. By doing so, will trade off some life, but that's good. That's points in the bag and another team gone.
Scoom stole one away, actually, there as well. Team Liquid, meanwhile, have found TSM. TSM stole some of those kills on the Knights as well, so they had to come down that hillside. Ibby, he's not going to get away with that one. Page doing some work. A good game for N47 so far, considering they were really quite far out. There will be a revive, so SIMSY back up on his feet. Vasku finds another, send you down. He's already been picked off once, but he's going to get the revive. There's a nade in his hand, and that should finish the job. And now let's see if he can get BestLodge. Did that go in the door? No, it wasn't. It was Scoop. I think it was either FaZe or Rec that got him there.
That'd have been a beautiful grenade if he managed to get it through the trees. It was actually a headshot that came in.
Reciprocity pushing onto Navi. They realize there's one man down. BestLodge gets Scoop down. Can he get the second? Does manage to finish him off. Vasku will flush out, but he's got Shiv on the back door. Shiv can't go to the right-hand side because look at Vasku. Vasku has that clear angle. Meanwhile, TSM, they're still getting trouble with Team Liquid on the northern side. BestLodge tries to vault out the window, have a little peek, give himself the angle.
And you know what? All this pays off for N47. This was the only problem.
He's got to go out the door.
Yeah, the molly will move across wood.
He's got to get out of the door. He doesn't. Stays there. As soon as he goes out, Udia catches him. And now he will go down as 7th. Back and forth the kills go. TSM will go down. Team Liquid will pick the kills up on that one. And FaZe just watch it all play out.
While it's been going down, Page in his little tower of power, he opts to get rid of the SKS. Actually picked up an AWM. I've just seen him cop for it in the box now. That was a very late drop. But because of that engagement that's gone down, unfolded between Rec and Navi, N47 have now been gifted a very good amount of ground. Vasku will come down to this. Has to be careful. Make sure that he doesn't overstep his boundary too much. The blue will force this one, but he is picking up points. 10 kills so far. N47, they're having a laugh.
They're absolutely having a belter. Vasku with the 6 kills and counting. So it's working out well for N47, formerly known as Zucht Adnam. Obviously, they were searching for a name, is the Dutch pronunciation. But FaZe Clan, let's not write them off. It's FaZe, it's Team Liquid in the final circle. 3 members of Team Liquid, Ibby down, and 4 members of FaZe. And FaZe have instantly spread out of the compound that they've held from the very beginning. And Fuzz has got himself a really nice little off angle here as he vaults on the rock.
Depends what Page can do, though. With that AWM, which team does he ruin? I mean, Vasku, you'd expect, has gone down now. I'd be saying don't come this way, Page, because I'm being shot from a different angle.
He sees Fuzzface. That's big, because James is up close, right?
Give me Page's POV. Give me Page's POV.
Page is the... Well, he's the last man standing. See if
he's got that arm. Any body shot's going to do damage to either one of these teams, and maybe sparks the fire that's needed.
So nobody inside this next circle of Phase 8. Everybody needs to move out of their little hidey holes, which is why we're seeing the smoke going down. Page, he hasn't got too far to go. FaZe is going to move for it. Ubah goes in first. Ubah's going to get himself inside this next circle as they try and fight for position.
Page still lingering in the distance, but the blue now forces it. That's a roller of a grenade. Aitzy onto James, opens it up. The smoke's go down. 2 members of Liquid.
Page down.
Finally. Okay, well, that at least opens that side up. This should be FaZe's game. They can just
essentially whitewash. Jempty as well. SIMSY is the last man standing. Jempty caught in the cross, and FaZe Clan will move in. The Phase 2 champions, the GLL champions of the Classic. And, well, if you're Ubah, you're the nation's champion as well. It's been a dominant few months for FaZe Clan as they pick up the first win on Sanhok.
FaZe Clan Sanhok team confirmed. The first time we see it in competitive PEL. And they're the ones to claim the victory. Team Liquid closely behind them, second place. N47 having a belter of a game. Plenty of points in the bag when it comes to frags. But it is FaZe who come out on top. And I'm sure there'll be a few memes on the desk.
I think Fuzzface is just like, I don't know, Circle just went to us. It's like, it's one of those games, right? You're happy you've won, but you hate the fact that it's just come your way all the time. So you just got to make the best of what you can sometimes.
Well, what I want to do now is track to see how many repeat winners we get on Sanhok, because let's think about where these two teams drop.
Yeah.
It's pretty much central of that map. It's two prime locations. It's fantastic for gear. It's fantastic for what I would call the best rotate you can get. Regardless of where the circle does land, you can at least, from either one of those, boot camp or Painan, just exit to which way you want to go. You have a nice bit of territory, but more importantly, it's the gear that you get off of it. You get options, you get gear, you get guns. You really kind of get the first pick of the map, essentially. I mean, you saw what mxey were doing.
Two very different approaches as well, because Team Liquid, whereas FaZe Clan were obviously in the compound and they were keeping everyone at arm's length, Team Liquid were very active. You know, They started boot camp, they went down south, then they went north to find the action up there. They were looking for third place. Then, because they got north, they let TSM come in the back door. They had to deal with TSM. They had to go with it. So two different approaches to the map.
Fun, that.
It's great to see how it's going to work out. I enjoyed it. M47 definitely enjoyed it. And FaZe Clan, they are with Parla. I'm sure they enjoyed it.